1 year ago, I said goodbye to my old life, not just to a house or a routine, but to my entire identity. After over 3 decades of marriage, I was living alone, fighting off depression, and searching for connection. And honestly, I needed adventure. I didn't have all the answers, but I knew this. I had to move. And Portugal became my breakthrough trip. Ending a marriage that long, it breaks you open, not all at once, but in layers. The silence at night, the empty weekends, the question, who am I now? I'd raised my kids, I'd shown up for everyone else, but now I was standing in the aftermath, trying to find my rhythm, trying to catch my stride and my identity, my place in the world again. And for me, that meant going somewhere that wasn't tied to my past. Portugal greeted me with color. It's strange, but the light in Lisbon really is different. Brighter. There's this shimmer that dances on the tiles and the old stone. Maybe it's the clean Atlantic air. I'd been there once before, and something in me knew I needed to go back. The food, absolutely unreal. The people, most spoke perfect English and were full of life. I could explore without translation stress. In the cities, Lisbon, Nazaré, Porto, Funchal, they felt alive but safe. There was music in the streets, artists performing like it was their life's work. I didn't feel like a tourist. I felt awake. This really wasn't some laid-back vacation. It was a whirlwind, truthfully. Hopping cities, exploring neighborhoods, hiking in Madeira. But even in the motion, I found stillness. I carved out moments on the overlooks, or miradors as they were called across Lisbon, where I could sit, breathe, and just feel. My adult son joined me for part of the trip. And in the middle of it all, hikes, dinners, movement, we reconnected. And I found community again on that hiking tour. Singles, strangers, fellow travelers. Despite the full schedule, there was breathing room to reflect, to journal, to get quiet enough to hear my own thoughts about who I'd been and who I might still become. I didn't feel like a tourist. I felt awake. One morning in Porto, I was sitting outside a cafe. No rush, no pen or notebook, but the company of my son in the city slowly stretching awake. A man walked by with his dog. A guitar echoed down a side street. And I felt this wave of calm. I wasn't worrying about the bills. I wasn't clinging to the past. I was just there. And I realized I fought for this moment. Living alone, tightening the budget, trying to piece life back together. But I made this happen. And that chair, that light, that stillness wasn't a luxury. It was earned peace. I remember just after that, vividly strolling away from that cafe, making eye contact with a man standing in front of his shop. I think he was Indian, maybe. He looked at me with his deep eyes and gave me a knowing smile and a glance of approval. Was he a witness to this moment? This pivot I was undergoing? It sure seemed so. Coming back home, well, it felt different. Everything looked the same, but I didn't feel the same. I wasn't trying to rush back into old rhythms. I gave myself permission to move slower, to stay reflective, to say yes to new experiences. Yes. To remember that just because one chapter ends doesn't mean the book is over. Portugal, it gave me more than a beautiful view. It gave me the mirror I needed. A super clear, crystal clear, albeit long distance mirror. To see that I still have life to build. Stories to write and connections. Real ones waiting ahead. If you're feeling stuck, if the silence is heavy and your story feels paused, I just want to say, you're not broken. You're just in the in-between spaces. And maybe what you need isn't some grand plan. Maybe you need new movement, light, curiosity, even a little chaos. 1 year ago, I stepped into that unknown. I didn't have it all figured out. No way. But I knew I had to leave the old version of me behind. And now I'm glad I didn't wait for the perfect moment. Your breakthrough may be a plane ticket. It might be a journal, a walk, a conversation that you've put off for too long. But whatever it is, I hope you go. I hope you give yourself permission to rediscover the parts of you that still spark.